Every year when I was teaching, we would do a forensic study of the cross. In vivid detail, I would describe how excruciatingly painful Roman crucifixion was. The first school I taught in was an all-boys school, and they were fascinated with every detail. Later in my career, I moved into a co-ed school, and the first time I presented this lesson, it left me completely stunned. Halfway through, I noticed the boys on the edge of their seat eating it all up. But most of the girls had tears streaming down the front of their faces. They would wince and cringe with every new detail I would describe about what Jesus had to endure on the cross. Being more empathetic, listening to what he suffered was sheer agony for them. At that moment, it struck me in a way it never had before, how truly awful Jesus' suffering on the cross really was. A few weeks ago, I promised that I would share with you the compelling explanations that I found for the atonement, how Jesus' suffering and death on the cross saves us from our sins. And I will do that shortly in several upcoming blogs. But before I do, I wanted to make one huge point about the meaning of the cross. As perplexing as the atonement is, there was one thing that was right from the beginning never in question. One thing that people never had to wrestle with, and it was this, that the cross, if it's true, is the definitive proof of God's love for us. Any God who would suffer this much for us must truly love us and love us immensely. As St. Paul puts it in Romans 5, God proves his love for us in this, that while we were still sinners, Christ died for us. There's nothing more God could do to prove how much he loved us. This season, one of the most powerful episodes of The Sharks, and I think of TV in general, any TV show I've ever seen, aired. It featured 3 young adult children who were pitching their father's innovative kitchen cutting board product. Their mom had died in 2012 of cancer, and not too long after, their father, who was a New York City firefighter, developed cancer from working on the recovery and rescue efforts at Ground Zero after 9/11. He died in 2016. As they told their dad's story of his utter devotion to his wife and how crushed he was when she died, of his dedication to them, especially in the wake of their mom's death, of his heroism as a firefighter, ultimately making the supreme sacrifice through his tireless efforts at Ground Zero, all 5 sharks were in tears. So was I. And then, in a move that has never happened before on Shark Tank, all 5 of them went in together without any haggling and gave the kids exactly what they wanted. And then on top of that, they promised to donate any money they would make from that investment to organizations that were helping other sick firefighters who have gotten sick from working at Ground Zero, and there are thousands of them. That story was so moving for so many reasons. The gut-wrenching losses those kids endured, their brilliant resilience. But the thing that struck the deepest chord was the beauty of their father's life, his self-sacrificing life. It was awe-inspiring. Of all the images of beauty we have, from magnificent works of art to scenic sunsets to the beautiful people in Hollywood, none is more awe-inspiring than sacrificial love, self-sacrificing love, especially when somebody makes a supreme sacrifice for someone else. The cross, if it's true, if that's really God suffering there on the cross is terrible and horrific and awful as it is also paradoxically the most beautiful thing that ever was. It's God's perfect and complete sacrifice for us. If it's true, then the Lord of the universe made the supreme sacrifice for us, and there is nothing more awe-inspiring than that. There is nothing that could show you more clearly how much he loves you. And what human would ever think this up, such a thing up? Throughout history, humans have been the ones who sacrificed to God. That's the way it's supposed to work. They'd sacrifice animals or precious goods or their good works, their good behavior. That's simply how it's supposed to be. Every other religion thinks it's foolish or scandalous or both for God to sacrifice for humans. It's only on the cross where God sacrifices everything for us. And that flips everything we as humans understand about God upside down, which is another really good reason to think that this actually could be the mind-blowing act of a transcendent God who loves us beyond all imagining. So why do you think Jesus had to die on the cross? How do you think it saves us from our sins? Or do you think that it's completely absurd and can't accept it because of that? Is this the thing that keeps you from believing in him? I would love to hear what you think. Please go to the Raising Jesus Facebook page, the Contact EJ page of the Raising Jesus website, and leave your comments and your questions there. I would love to hear from you. Also, you can, please, if you'd like to see more videos like this, please like the Raising Jesus Facebook page so that we can keep you updated on future videos, blogs, and announcements. Thank you for watching.